Hey everybody, it's Carolyn Saldo here. Welcome to another Scale Big series training, coaching call, Facebook live stream. It's all the same thing, right? It's where we come together and we help you go from passion to profits in your coaching or consulting business. And today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about client acquisition and specifically the client acquisition system that we have been using. So just waiting for everybody to get in here and some people to start to watch and engage with us. But if you're watching right now, or maybe you're even watching the replay, what I want you to do is put in the comments what some of your biggest struggles have been with getting clients and specifically online marketing. What we see with especially new entrepreneurs, men and women, hi Alicia, is that this whole thing around getting clients and gaining customers and making sales seems to be a big mystery. And it doesn't have to be. It really does not have to be very hard. So if getting clients is still an issue for you and you feel like, I don't know where those clients are, I don't know how to attract them, I don't know what makes them buy from me, I don't know where to find them, I have no discovery calls, put a 1 in the comments. Just give me some 1 so that I know that this is something that really pertains to you and you want to know how to get more clients and systemize the whole process. So give me a 1 in the comments or something else that makes me know that you guys are really wanting to figure that out, because it doesn't have to be hard. Like I said, we have done pretty much the same sort of marketing in my business for the last almost 8 years. And I've mastered the system, more and more over time, obviously, but it's really always been the same. And I've tried new things along the way. When I learned about, YouTube and all these freebies and different advertising models, and there's always something new that emerges in the industry, but the core foundation of how you attract someone to your business and then they end up buying from you is the same. And it really is the same whether you're a coach or you're even website designers and copywriters or people who are financial advisors or lawyers or accountants. It really doesn't matter. The system applies because it's based on human psychology and it's based on how people make buying decisions. So you can trust that this is a system in a process that is the way it is. It's been like that a couple of years ago and it's going to be like that in the future too. It's just that we wrap it with different technology because we have different opportunities in online marketing and all the good stuff that Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and whatever else is coming and Snapchat and, all these systems are giving us and they're really just facilitating the same old process. So we have some people watching, which is amazing. So we have recently created a really handy sheet and I want to show you the sheet. Unfortunately, I can't show you my screen because BeLive doesn't know how to screen share. So I had to print it, but I'm going to show you the printout. This is something that we're now sharing with our clients in our beginner program, Brand Your Passions, right? So this is like the boiled down version of what our marketing approach looks like, but it's very step-by-step. It's really all you need. When I say boiled down, it's not less effective. It's really all you need. And this is what we teach our clients in our programs, or pretty much anyone when they come to us and say, I've got no money, I've got no cash flow, I have no leads, I have no clients, what should I do? Okay, so I'm going to show you this thing and then I'm going to talk to it because I want to really make it clear as to what this flow looks like and also what systems and tools we're using, right? So this is this pretty sheet right here and we're going to go through it. And you'll see it's actually really simple. And by the way, if you want this sheet, you can have it. All you need to do is put client acquisition system in the comments. And somehow I'm going to get the sheet to you. We'll upload it somewhere. Just put client acquisition system in the comments now or later, doesn't matter. And Jesse is going to upload it and get the link to you so you can download this and actually have it with you as you're building your sales funnels, right? Client acquisition system. Awesome. So we have our entire client acquisition system based on a talk. Okay. So when you're first entering this industry and you're brand new, You go by what other people are telling you. You have heard people talk about creating blogs and ranking on social media. You have heard people talk about putting videos on YouTube and live streaming. You heard people talk about freebies and lead magnets, and there's one hype after the next. And trust me when I say that I've done it all. I've literally done it all. I launched my health coaching business 8 years ago, and I've done PDFs and reports and 3-part video series. And, what's his name? Maybe I shouldn't say names, but the big guys out there who are promoting all these different launch funnels and ways to launch things out, I've done it all. I've bought all the programs. I've studied everything. So I know when I tell you that this is the best way to market yourself, I'm not lying to you. I'm not making it up. I've literally tested and experienced that, right? And so the other thing you want to ask yourself is, how have you been buying from people? How have you been buying from people? If you've bought programs in the past or courses or anything, at what point in time have you made a buying decision where you said, you know what, this sounds pretty intriguing. I think this is going to help me, and now I'm going to buy. How much marketing have they done? How have they been able to convince you? Maybe you're one of my clients. How was I able to convince you to get into my programs and actually work with me, right? Chances are it wasn't just a post somewhere. Chances are you've never read one of my blog posts, because I really don't blog. We recently started, more blogging, but it's not something that I really enjoy. Chances are you didn't see a whole lot of YouTube, because my YouTube channel isn't ready. We're working on that now. So none of these things, maybe you downloaded one of my PDFs or one of my free guides, but that's not even it either, right? So what hurts me the most and what really kills me inside, when I have these new women, these beautiful coaches, out there come to us, and they're so happily and naively tell me, oh, I think I'm going to just do some blogs, right? Oh, I'm just going to create a guide or a quiz. I'm going to create an ebook or a report. And I know for a fact that just builds an email list, but it does not build actual prospects, okay? So the first thing I want to tell you guys, that there's two things. There's a distinction between an email list, which is an email list. Those are names and emails. Those are not clients. There's no money in that. You want to know how to monetize an email list. I can build an email list quickly. I can run, ads to a PDF. I can run ads to a quiz. I can put a report out there. I can do some Facebook Lives, and I can get people on an email list very quickly. So I, for the longest time, even in the beginning as a health coach, was always able to build my email list very quickly and add new people to it. But none of these people ever talked to me. Very infrequently did they email me and say, hey, I want a discovery call. Hey, I want to talk to you. So you can get leads with quizzes and ebooks and all these free things. And by the way, that is getting harder and harder and harder, because the market is being flooded with quizzes and ebooks and things, because they're so easy to create. So you can still do that very cheaply. But if you don't have a way to get these people into your programs and actually create interest and curiosity and intrigue and have them on a phone call where you can talk to them and then get them into your programs where you can transform them, it doesn't do you any good, right? So nowadays, we even have changed our marketing trainings in our programs, where in the beginning, just a year ago or so, I was still with my clients saying, well, yeah, you can do an ebook, and well, yeah, you can, add value in different ways. But I've always seen a drastic difference between the effectiveness of, one of these low-end freebies and a real expert talk. So nowadays, when you're asking me about my client acquisition system, it's all based on a real expert talk. And I don't even really care how you deliver it. It could be a video, it could be a webinar, it could be a recording, it could be a live talk on a stage somewhere, maybe at a networking meeting, at an event. But it's based on sharing, your expertise in the form of a real expert talk. So the first thing you want to do, and some of my clients already know this, and they're still resisting, and they're still saying, I don't want to do webinars. I want to write my little ebook, and I want to get that out there. And I'll say, you can write your ebook and spend 3 weeks writing the ebook, and then spend $500 and get, a few people on your email list. But you will struggle getting them into a program, and you will struggle creating enough interest and trust so that they actually buy from you. So as you can tell, I'm very passionate about that. So you really want to understand where you want to put your focus. It's very important that you get that. So on our little cheat sheet, which I'm going to give you guys if you post client acquisition system in the comments, the first piece we have, I'm just going to show you the top of that, is a Facebook ad, but it could literally be any sort of online advertising. And so you want to look at where your market actually is hanging out. If you're marketing to creatives, Pinterest is great. If you're marketing to crafty people and people who are makers and who are creating actual products and things like that, maybe Pinterest is your market. If you're marketing to the younger population, maybe you want to look at, being active on Snapchat or being active on Instagram. And so there's LinkedIn, there's all these different channels, but Facebook is still, it's the biggie, right? That's where most people are. So you want to be on Facebook, and you can target anybody on Facebook. They have put so much work into giving us this massive engine where we can target people, and they're getting smarter and smarter and smarter about how we can position ourselves and the tools we have available. It's really hard to beat Facebook. It really is. We are advertising on Facebook. We're advertising on Google. We're also looking at Twitter right now. And those are the channels that we're using. And YouTube is just now growing. We're looking at how to advertise on YouTube and how to get more videos out on YouTube. But it's always been Facebook, and you just have to see what's working and where the majority of people are. So that's where you start. So you want to make yourself really, really smart on how to use Facebook for advertising, and specifically how to target your people the right way. The demographics, the purchase behaviors, the pages they follow, the brands they like, the authors they're reading about, and create a really finely defined avatar of requirements, because then you can go out and actually target the right people. Because the way it works, if you're advertising out on Facebook and you have an audience that's 20 million people, right, and you're showing your ad to all the women in the world that are between 30 and 40, and you're hoping that some of them will be interested in weight loss, chances are you're going to pay an arm and a leg, because you're going to be charged for, if you're running conversion ads, you'll be charged for impressions. So every time somebody sees your ad, even if they're not the right person for you, you're paying for that. So you can see the more you're able to box these clients in, the easier it will be for you to actually target and find the right ones and pay a whole lot less for the advertising that you're doing. Okay, so that the client acquisition system starts with advertising. If you think that you can just post and somehow people will find your post, forget it. If you think that you can just throw up a Facebook business page and somehow people will find the business page magically, forget it. It doesn't work that way. You will run out of money, run out of time, run out of passion maybe, and guts before you ever make a dollar. Anything you put out there, your Facebook page, your personal page, any content, even the website, before your website ever has any traffic naturally from Google, you have to pump a lot of content into it, even through blogging. If you want any rankings on Google, you have to blog at least 2 to 3 times a week. And the content has to be good. And the content has to be optimized for certain keywords too. So you see, anything you create, you have to be the one controlling the traffic of people and driving people to what you want them to see. And that's why the advertising piece is so key. And that's why, as a business owner nowadays, if you want to run your business online and if you want to make money on your laptop, you have to know how to run ads. And you should know it yourself. You don't want to depend on an agency. You don't want to depend on a VA to do it. You need to know this stuff, because you need to be able to jump in. I can't tell you how many times on the weekends Facebook is changing the algorithms and everything tanks. My Facebook ad guy is not going to jump on there Sunday nights. He'll say, okay, maybe, by Wednesday I can look at this thing. And that's not acceptable to me. So you knowing your online advertising is the best thing you can ever do, and the rest can go to someone else. But you want to be in there, not night and day, but whenever you need to be, and be sharp and know what you're doing and really master that stuff. So, even in my programs, we have trackers for our clients. We show them what numbers they need to be looking at, what's acceptable and what's not, how much they should be paying per click, all these things, so that they're really empowered and they know, well, this campaign is running well, or maybe the campaign is not running so well, but they know, and then they can take action. Okay. So that's your first one. And if you're brand new, I know who you are. Okay. I get it. If this is all sort of like, okay, old hat, then you're in good shape. Then you're already getting this and you're already following, what I'm talking about. If you're brand new and you're feeling like, oh my God, I can never do this, just take it one step at a time. YouTube is your best friend because you can learn anything you want on YouTube, or follow people who give you, good advice and who really teach you how to do things, and, work with, people like us. We show you the technology, we show you the steps, we show you everything you need to know to get ads running, to get the sales funnel set up and everything. But you can do this step by step. I'm here to tell you the truth, so that, there's not anybody left out there that thinks that they can post a few times somewhere on Twitter and magically clients will show up. And the other thing I have to tell you, which is actually part of this funnel, so maybe I'll leave it till later. I'm going to leave that till later, because there's another big aha that you need to understand that many people still don't. So you get that online advertising is the big key. You also get that I don't want you to be doing any more freebies or checklists or any of that nonsense. Those things are good. And don't get me wrong, we still have those. I have reports, I have guides, I have all these things, but they're gravy, okay? We have guides, let's say, but the only reason we put them out there is so that we can retarget people who got the guide with the real sales funnel. Okay, so the only reason I might be paying for ads for a hiring guide, which we have recently launched, or a success guide, which we have, ads running for. I have a guide on how to create a coaching package. We have all these different things, and they're all in written form. But the only reason, for the most part, that we have advertising running is because I want to build a group, an audience of warm people who have consumed some sort of content from me before, and that I can retarget them with my actual, real, valuable information, which is my expert talk. And I'm doing that because I'm paying X dollars for it over here. And then my cost for my real funnel goes down. Always does. So if you want to apply that strategy, you can. You can advertise blog posts, you can advertise PDFs and whatever else you're creating. But that alone is not enough to run a real business. You want to have, your real expert talk offering that's then retargeted to those people who've already downloaded some of the other stuff that you have. Okay, that's what we're doing. And some people might disagree. They might still teach you how to do freebies and this and that. But, the question you want to ask is, based on the funnel that you're teaching, how many people actually buy? Are they driving them to a sales page? Are they driving them to a sales call? How is the purchase actually facilitated in the end, right? You want to actually dissect that and understand. It's not just putting the pretty freebie out there. It's like, what happens in the back end? Are they sending emails? Are they texting? Are they later inviting them to a webinar? And then they buy from these people? So there's a lot that goes into it. But let's stick with how we do it, our system, right? So Facebook ad was the first one. The second one is your webinar opt-in page. So we're driving traffic from the Facebook ad to the webinar opt-in page. And it's really sort of like your expert talk. Because what I've learned over time is that the delivery of the expert talk really doesn't matter as much. It could be something that you're recording and then you're showing it. It could be live. It could be in person. You could be going to an event. like to the event that we have coming up in Vegas in September from Passion to Profits Live. And our speakers are there, and they each have 30 minutes, 30 to 60 minutes, and they're giving a talk that is an expert talk. Those speakers will most likely gain some clients from those talks, right? So there are different ways you can deliver the talk, but a talk is a talk, and it's the most effective way for you to convey who you are, what your value is, what your story is. People get a sense for your energy. They get a sense for, you know, whether you're the real deal or not. Because people who are not experts cannot give talks. If you have no content and no idea what the talk should be about, and you can't sit down for at least a half hour and coach and train on the topic that's part of your business, that's very bad. And I get it. You have to create the talk and you have to figure out what goes into it. Right, guys? I mean, it makes sense. And so the people who don't really know what they're doing are not out there doing webinars because they're lacking the content and the expertise to actually create something valuable in an expert talk. But also ask yourself, who have you bought from recently? Let's actually test this. If you've bought from someone who has either done a video or a webinar or a workshop or something like that recently, put a 2 in the comments. If you've bought from someone, yes, if you've bought from someone who's recently done a workshop or a webinar or a talk live in person, put a 2 in the comments. Just ask yourself, you know, even myself, like, what did I buy recently? I bought this video training, Frank Kern's video training, because I'm all about YouTube now and I want to build my YouTube channel. But Frank didn't just send me a PDF. He sent me a whole bunch of videos. And then I watched a webinar with him, which was recorded, but still, he gave me great content. And then I thought, you know what, Frank Kern is probably, he seems to be pretty good at video. And now I want to buy his product. And I see a whole bunch of 2s in the comments here, a whole bunch of 2s. So the people who you're buying from are giving you videos and talks and you know, spoken content. So why would you not do that too? Why are you not doing talks? Actually, let's test that too. How many of you have at least attempted to do an expert talk in person, in a webinar, Facebook Live, or a video? Put a 3 in the comments. If you have attempted to do your own talk, doesn't matter if it was successful or not, it doesn't matter. You've tried it at least. Put a 3 in the comments. I want to see a ton of 3s. A ton of 3s. I want you guys to really do this. Let's see. Do we have any 3s? Is there a delay? If there are no 3s, fine too. That means you have to go do them now. There they are. There they are. Okay. And they were successful. Awesome. Alicia says she did them. They were successful. Webinar sell if you know how to position them. Yes. Okay. So that leads us to the next point. The traffic comes from the Facebook ad or the Twitter ad or whatever advertising. This should really say online advertising. And it hits the webinar opt-in page, and we're using lead pages or ClickFunnels. Okay. Lead pages or ClickFunnels. And if you want to see a real life opt-in page that I've used in the past that has converted really well for me, put opt-in page in the comments. Put opt-in page there. I'll go in there later and I'll give you an actual link to a real life example of an opt-in page that I used for a webinar in May that has done really, really well, where we've gotten, I think the opt-in rate was over 35%, which for us is very high. It's very good. Again, some people will say that, oh my God, that sucks, Carolyn, I can do much better. And that's awesome for you, but 35% for us is pretty good. So I can show you the example. Awesome. So the webinars are, the webinar opt-in page goes to lead pages or ClickFunnels. So if you're interested in the system that we're using, check out lead pages, which many of you probably already know, or ClickFunnels, which is another system that allows you to create all sorts of opt-in pages. And I prefer ClickFunnels because it's more flexible. I can drag and drop pieces on the opt-in page. I can really make something that's very unique. And so it's more expensive too. I believe ClickFunnels is $97 a month. That's the basic version. And then there's more upgrades and features you can get. Leadpages, I believe, is 30, 37 a month. So either one is still fine for your webinar opt-in pages, right? And even if you do an expert talk locally, you can, send people to the opt-in page and say, guess what? I'm doing an expert talk at eWomen Networked next week. Come and join me. I'm really excited. I'm going to be talking about A, B, and C, how to blah, 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 and so forth, right? So for the webinars, the most important thing for the webinars is what? What's the most important thing? What you're talking about, right? But really, what matters the most is your headline. We have found that when you're looking at the webinar opt-in page and you're promoting a webinar or an expert talk, what matters the most for the most part is the headline. That's what people are looking at right away. Like, what am I learning on this webinar? Why should I care? Why should I spend an hour of my time listening to this? So the webinar needs to have a specific hook. You need to look at, the psychology of your buyer, what people really want, and tell them in like a sentence in that headline why they need to be coming. So the more specific you can be, the better, right? So we usually say something along the lines of, how to, or the 6 steps to, or the 3 secrets to, or discover or learn how to create a big outcome, right? And so don't say the 4 steps to empower your life, the 5 steps to become happier, the 6 steps to lose weight. Don't be generic and vague. Don't be cookie cutter. Don't use things where people are like, what the hell means, what do you mean by empower your life? Am I going to be able to run faster? Am I going to be able to advance my career? Find a new husband or a wife? What does empower your life really mean? You want to be able to be very as specific as possible so that people really get what they're learning from this talk, which can hook them in, that it makes it really attractive to them. So the steps, the how-to, the secrets, the shifts, the pillars, the, whatever way, the 6 ways to have the specific juicy big outcome. If you can quantify it, even better. Lose a certain number of weight, make a certain number of money. Some of your life coaches may not be able to quantify it, but if you can, even better. You can quantify the timeline, how long it's going to take them to do that. And then what we usually do is we end it with something along the lines of, without doing A, B, and C, or even if you've had this and this and this happen to you, or without, or while something else is happening. So if people have insecurities and they say, well, I've been on 100 blind dates in the last 6 months, and I still have not found my perfect wife. You can say, 5 steps to find your perfect partner, and to find your dream partner through online dating, even if you've been on 100 blind dates in the last 6 months, or even if you're sick and tired of online dating. I don't know, something along those lines that says it gives it that punch. It's, it hits on that insecurity. It crushes that objection that they may have, where they say, I've done it before, I can't do it. I'm overweight, nobody wants to date me. I'm making up silly examples for you guys, but you get that, right? So make it into a really juicy, specific, impactful headline for your webinar. And then, of course, the rest is important too. The bullet points and what they'll be learning and the time and the date and all that good stuff. But the headline is where you capture their attention and then you get them to sign up for that talk. So I'll give you an example of one of my recent webinars. I'll put the link in there later today. And you guys, I didn't see enough 3s. I really didn't. So if you're watching me right now, the big takeaway for you is to create your expert talk. You really need to do that and figure out where you're going to present it. In person or online, it doesn't matter. Even recorded is fine. And if you don't know how to do it, you come to us. and we can teach you how to create that talk, okay? Because the flow is important too. It's not just to go out there and babble for 60 minutes. It's to structure this talk in a way that brings them on a journey that keeps their attention the entire time. and that makes them feel like this is tailor-made for them, okay, and it solves their specific problem, and it gives them the outcome they really, really want, and it positions the content in a way that is important and shows that you're the expert and shows that you get them and shows that they can trust you, with case studies and with the way that you position it, and it has a call to action that works. So the other thing you need is an email list provider. So we have here Aweber, ActiveCampaign, and Ontraport. So for those of you who like the tech stuff, for the email list provider, so again, traffic hits the Facebook ad. From the Facebook ad, you link it to your Expert Talk opt-in page. From there, people are registering. They're giving you your email and their first name for the most part. And then the ClickFunnels, or Lead Pages system, sends that information off to your email provider. That is your house for your email list, right? That's where your database is sitting with the people who are registering for your stuff, who are signing up for your freebies, if you have any of them. That is your asset in your business, your database of people who are candidates and clients, okay? So that's Aweber, ActiveCampaign, or Ontraport. Those are the three that we recommend. I don't recommend anything else because I don't like anything else. There's MailChimp, there's Constant Contact, there's a bunch of different ones, but we like those three because they're working really well and they're very intuitive, and people, for the most part, have a really easy time using them, and they integrate with everything else as well. So you need to send some emails, right? Obviously, we send people some reminders. If you're doing the webinar live, you want to remind people up to 10 times or more. So it's not just one email. There are up to 10, sometimes more, depending on how far out you advertise, emails to go to these people that remind them to actually show up to your webinar, right? By the way, which email services are we using? Who has an email service? Let me know in the comments. What are you using? And maybe you don't have one. So the three email providers are on here, if you guys can read it. Let's see. Aweber, ActiveCampaign, or Ontraport. Ontraport will be the most expensive, but it's really sophisticated. It's probably on the same level as Infusionsoft. It can tag people, you can charge people through it. It can create sales pages. It's very advanced. So if you have a smaller budget, go with ActiveCampaign or Aweber. Awesome. Albia uses ActiveCampaign and she loves it. Perfect. Yep. And the three emails. So to remind people of your webinar, 3 emails are sometimes enough. But if you're advertising the webinar today and it's actually happening next week, I would send a whole lot more, because people won't be opening all of your emails. Nowadays emails go in the spam, emails go in the promotional folder. So, assume people will only open maybe 2. Your open rates, your email open rates will probably be between 15 and 20% or less. Okay, so people will not really be looking at your stuff all the time. So I would send an email the day before, the morning of, an hour before, when I go live, 15 minutes in, and then really leading up to the webinar too, especially if they've never seen you before. Imagine somebody is brand new and they really don't know who you are. You probably want to take advantage of telling them a little bit more about yourself, like give them a little bit of your background, a little bit of your expertise and why you're doing this, and send them emails before the webinar that are reminders, but they're also already giving some value. So the emails that week before the webinar don't just all say, attend the webinar, attend the webinar, attend the webinar, reminder, attend the webinar. They're actually valuable mailers. So you might say, before the webinar, by the way, here are my top 5 tips for finding a perfect mate. I'm using the relationship stuff today, right? Doesn't matter. And in the email, you're giving them some hints, maybe, some teasers, maybe a little bit of content from the webinar actually. And then you're ending with, here are some teasers and here are some great first steps for you already. But make sure you come to my live talk next week, where I'm going to show you the 6 easy ways to find the perfect husband in less than 3 months, even if you've gone through 100 blind dates in the past. I don't know, something like that, right? So you can send them emails that position you as an expert already, that create the relationship already, but they're really reminders in disguise for the webinar. Does that make sense? Right? So really, send them these reminders. You might as well. You don't just want them to sit there and get cold, because these people get bombarded and emailed every single day. And if they're waiting for a week for your talk, chances are by the time the talk actually happens, they forgot why they even signed up. They have no clue who you even are, and they may not come. The other thing we have seen with webinars, unfortunately, is that the show rate is very, very low. Okay, the show rate is low. So you want to assume that out of the total population of people who are actually signing up for the webinar, only 10 to 20% will actually come live. 10 to 20%. So if you're investing, a certain number of dollars, $500 into a webinar, and you get 100 people signed up, out of these 100 people, you will probably see 10 or 20, maybe 25 live on the webinar. The rest of them will be hoping for a replay. They maybe forgot, they lost interest, who knows what. So, the more reminders you can send that are not spammy but valuable, the better, because you're, maximizing the chances of these people actually showing up to the webinar. Christina has a good question. Why do them live if the rate is so low? That's a good question. And my answer is, first of all, you want to do them live to practice presenting in front of people. My new clients in Brand Your Passions, I always say, go do them live. There's just something there's something where you feel like, there's more energy. Like, I know there's probably like 40, 50 people watching me right now. So my energy is up. I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, these people are getting it. Right? So it's exciting. Plus there is engagement and interaction going on. You guys ask me questions. I can ask you questions. We can talk. So on a live webinar, you can, take pauses. You can pause and you can communicate with people over the chat. You can host a Q&A session at the end of the webinar where they can ask you about maybe your call to action, the call that you're offering, or the program you talked about, or something in the webinar. And it creates really, really great bonds. So live webinars have always worked for me, but you're spending a lot of money to get a good chunk of people in a webinar room, thousands. If you want to sit there with 50 people, 100 people, you'll be spending thousands on your webinar, on Facebook ads. If anybody tells you differently, maybe they're a guru magician at somehow making the Facebook ads work, but I've not seen it. Okay, so it is what it is. That's why you should have a premium program. It's a whole nother story, right? We teach you how to create high-end programs so you can actually go out there and sell something that is $2,000, $5,000. If you're running a webinar and you end up selling something for $200, it's very hard to create an ROI, to have a return on this whole thing because of how the numbers are working nowadays. So you're really well off if you have a premium offer. Not expensive, but something that is highly valuable and that people are willing to pay a good amount of money for, okay? So that's just how it is. You need to put your skin in the game. Absolutely, you gotta invest in your business. However, we're now also showing people how to do recorded webinars. So if any of you have seen webinars from me lately, it may be a recording, and that's okay. I'm not saying, hey, I'm live, and then I'm pretending like I'm live and I'm really not. It just says that it's a workshop, it's a master class, it's a training, it's a video, whatever. You're still getting the same value whether I'm live or whether I'm not live. And depending on how you set up these automated webinars or workshops, you can get an attendance rate of 60% or more. And that depends on how you set it up. So the way we teach our clients to set them up is so that people can actually watch them very quickly, which drives up the attendance rate. It's much more convenient for people. They don't have to wait at all. And they can watch it right then and there. And the attendance rate goes through the roof. So it's much more efficient that way, but you can do them live. For the last several years, literally, I've been using this system with just live webinars. I didn't even realize I could record them. I just did them live. I did them live once a month, and I put a good chunk of money in my webinar, and I did the talk, and I had new topics every time I did a live webinar, or maybe I repeated it. But I did a really good job, and I've made my talk stronger and stronger and stronger, and I really perfected my flow. And then I booked my conversations from these webinars, and I was set for the month. And that was it. And any challenge, any freebie, any posting, anything else, podcasts on top of that was, for brand awareness, for brand building, for, getting my name out there more, and even for growing my list a little bit more. But that's the meat and potatoes of the business. Okay, so we had email list, right? So what else is here? Email list provider, and then the email. Yeah, so then the email service sends the emails, right? So we have some recordings. The webinar happens. We said, the reminders have to go out. For the actual live webinar, right now I'm really in love with Zoom. Z as in zebra, OOM, if you don't know. Zoom webinar, easy to use, very stable, has not collapsed on me. I don't like any other webinar tool because I've had really bad experiences. That's just me. So if you like something else, feel free to give it a try. But Zoom webinar seems to be doing really, really well. And then the big question is, what happens on the webinar, right? And I'm sure you've seen many different ways. You've seen webinars where they pitch you. You've seen webinars where there is all of a sudden like a timer, and the timer is blinking and you have 24 hours to buy something. But the way I do it is because I want to talk to people, is I invite them into a conversation, okay? So what we teach our clients with our client acquisition system is to invite people to a conversation. Because if you're a coach or a consultant, you want to talk to people. Do you guys agree? How do you want to sell your stuff? How do you sell your stuff right now? Put in the comments. Are you using discovery calls, sales calls? Are you pushing people to a sales page? How are you making sales? How do you want to make sales? Do you want to talk to people? Tell me in the comments, how does this look like for you right now? How do you want to do it? For me, and what I feel works the best, because I am working with my clients so closely, I want to know who they are. I'm not selling any low-end courses or anything automated where I really don't care, who comes into my course. It could be the craziest crazy out there. If they buy my course, they bought my course. I never have to see them. But you want to talk to people because if you're investing your time and yourself into them and working with them closely, you don't want to just, bounce them off a sales page. So here's the other thing. Many new people in business, women entrepreneurs, think, oh yeah, I have a website and I'll put my rates on there and my sales page on there, and people will just go to the sales page and read about me, and they'll come and they want to work with me. And once in a blue moon that might happen. People will find you, yes, but it's not a consistent way to do business, right? It's not a consistent way. You can't just hope that people will somehow find this page and then they will click and they will buy your thing, and you don't even know who they are. You want to talk to them. It's good for them and it's good for you too, definitely. So sales conversations are the best thing in my business. If you don't love them, you gotta really learn how to love them. You gotta learn how to enjoy them. And I want to do a training for you guys on sales conversations or discovery calls, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to do a training for you guys in the psychology behind a conversation like that, so that you can really learn to love them, okay? Because that's the bread and butter of your business. The more conversations you have with people in person or online about your services and how you can help them, the better you will do. The more money you will make, the more lives you will change. So it's about driving conversations in your business, right? And then on those conversations, you can decide, well, it's a nice lady or a nice guy. all the criteria that I'm looking for are met. This person has problems that I can fix. I have the solution. We agree that we're a great match, and here's my offer, my product, and let's work together. So it's an opportunity for you to actually assess them, and it's also a chance for them to assess you and see if there's mutual interest and you guys can work together. And that's how it works. And eventually you can outsource them. Today with this is not complicated, you guys. This is a little sheet, and that's really all it is. From these expert talks, and I'm giving these talks in person. I've talked in New York City a couple of weeks ago. I have a big event coming up in September. So I do the same thing over the internet and in person. It doesn't matter. But this little sheet, it's not even complicated. We're literally now booking over 500 calls a month. And it wasn't always that way, right? So even just a year ago, I was doing my Facebook ads, and that was really just it. To my expert talks, and maybe I would book 25, 20, maybe 30 some months. And that was enough for me, because I was doing the calls myself. And out of those 20, 30 people, I would work with sometimes 5, sometimes 10, sometimes 15. It depended on how much space I had, how many clients I wanted, how many calls I was booking. Right? And eventually you outsource that. But you need to understand that it's about those calls. Do not believe that people will be clicking on your sales page and buying something and you never see them, right? Yeah, Alicia, you were on a call with me. Yes. And now people are on a call with Sue, or we have Gemma, we have Stephanie, and we have Hillary, and we have Jill, and we have Becky, and we have a big sales team now, and it's really, really fun to see how that grows and to see what an impact and what a difference we can make out there. And then one more thing, after this webinar is over, down here, the email sends the follow-ups with the replay and the reminders to book a call. So of course you don't just let people go. You have the webinar, or you have the talk in person, and your objective is to book those calls, but you want to remind people. So we send a certain number of reminder emails that go out after these talks, no matter how they happen, that remind people of the opportunity to speak with us if they want to take it a step further. And it brings in the right people. We're not begging. We're not, convincing anybody. We're just showing people what's possible. Kind of like I'm showing you now what's possible for you. If you have this system in place, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy. You need to know what to say on this talk, and how to target the ads, and what to say on the opt-in page, and how to deliver it professionally and with confidence. But once you understand that system and you have, focus, and you optimize it, and you fine-tune every step along the way, this is something that can really streamline your entire business and take a lot of pressure off of you, and help you forecast, and help you, be in control of your money and your cash flow and everything else in your business. So you have the follow-up, and you remind people of the opportunity, and the ones who are ready and committed, they will take action. One more thing I want to tell you, and then I have to let you go. It's 1:54. The beauty of the webinar is that it filters out people who are not right for me, who are not committed. The ones who are signing up for your talk, right? So they see Alicia, or they see who else is here, Melvin, all of you, beautiful people watching right now. When you're putting a webinar out there, the people who are signing up already have an interest in what you have to offer, okay? The ones who come are really committed to change. And then they stay there. They watch you for 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, but they stay the entire time. Some of you have been listening to me now for like almost an hour. That tells me that you are super committed to your business. Maybe not, committed to me 100% yet, but you are super committed to learning about your business and how to make more sales and how to get more clients. And what does that mean? That means you're the one who's going to win. You're one of the winners because you put yourself in the game. Other people are blowing it off, and they're going, doing something else, or jumping from one thing to the next, and nothing ever gets done. So the people who are watching your entire talk are the ones who are really committed because they've already raised their hand and said, yes, I want to know more. Teach me. Show me. I'm here to actually implement this and use it for myself. And then if they actually say, hey, Malvine, or Alicia, I want to talk to you, they're taking it a step further and they step forward even more and say, okay, I watched the webinar, I listened to your talk, I want to know more about you, I want to get to know you more and see if this is really for me. So they're stepping forward even more. And then they're showing up on that call eventually, which shows even more commitment. And then on the call, you can ask them questions and see, are they committed or are they just playing around, really? I mean, unfortunately, sometimes people are just, they have too much time in their day. But for the most part, it brings you not leads. At this point in the game, they're hot prospects. So the ebook brings you a lead, which is cold, and they may never talk to you, ever. They just downloaded the thing, they had 5 minutes on their phone, or here's this little PDF thingy, put it in my files, I'll read it later, and then they keep going. But this person that went through this sales funnel, this client acquisition system, and they actually talked to you on this call, they took the time, that is a hot qualified prospect for you, and you have a great chance at enrolling them and selling them into a program that is high end too. That's one other thing. You can sell very expensive programs through sales calls. They would have never paid you 10 grand from a sales page or from a freebie. They're not going to pay 10 grand from, downloading your PDF. But when they go through this entire process and they see you as an expert and they talk to you and they get to know you, they can make a decision to actually invest with you to have those results. Make sense? Awesome. All right, well, that's all I have for you guys. Again, this is going to be sent out very, very simple. It's really just a reminder of what you need to be focusing on and what you want to build for your business to get more clients in, to make it easy, relatively easy. If you need help, come and talk to us, okay? I want to offer you a chance to talk to my team or to me if you need help with this. I'm going to pop a link in the comments below. If you want to book a call with us, which is a discovery call where we can talk about your business. So whether you're launching, you're scaling, or you're brand new, it doesn't matter. You can talk to my team and see what's possible and if our methods actually work for you and if you have what it takes to work with us as well. So I'll pop the link below. It's carolinsoldo.com/apply. Very easy. We have some availability before the end of the month to talk to the team and see where we can go from here. But as always, I hope this served you. I hope, either it was brand new and you took a lot from this, or it was a reminder and you're already working on the system. Good for you. But I hope you took away some good nuggets from this. You appreciated this. And of course, I appreciate you for being here and spending some time with me. So have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.